What is up, everybody who is exactly nobody at this moment, because I have a brand new YouTube channel with 0 subscribers, but that's all right. That's okay. So this is going to be probably my second video I ever upload. My first one was about 20 minutes ago, and this one is going to be called Ride Along. And I'm going to do 3 of them every week probably, because it's a ride along on my boring 30-minute commute to PT, to physical training that I do at Core Orlando, Core Florida, Core something, which is a spinal cord injury recovery place that's all activity-based training, and they're absolutely amazing. That's actually why I'm living down in Florida right now, is to go to them, because Idaho did not have anything like that. No really good neurological recovery stuff, so made the move down here. Just leaving my apartment complex right now, late as usual, so I guess we'll be taking the expressway for $1.50, but a lot cheaper than missing my valuable PT time. Anyways, so Ride Along is just gonna be kind of a little overview of what I'm doing for my health, my wealth, my happiness, my life, as far as maximizing quality of life living with spinal cord injury. And if you didn't know, I'm a T10 paraplegic, which is like just above the belly button is where I lose all feeling, sensation, and movement. And I'm a complete, very serious spinal cord injury. So if you don't know what complete is, then you probably don't have a spinal cord injury. And I don't know if this is going to be that interesting for you, but maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, so the main thing I'm doing right now to facilitate healing that's doing more for me than any physical therapy or exercise or sauna or ice bath or any, healing massage, any healing modality, or all of them combined, is just nailing down my diet. I have had the most horrific gut problems since originally, not since getting injured necessarily, but after I was injured and in the hospital, I got a very serious spinal cord or spinal column infection. I got an infection in my spinal column, and it required basically 9 months of every antibiotic under the sun. I nearly died twice from sepsis, and they filled me with IV antibiotics. I mean, I was literally, even after I went home months later, I had a central line put in, basically going from my bicep directly to my heart, and I was just pumping IV antibiotics into that myself. Like, it was, yeah, it was pretty gnarly, and those things destroyed my gut, my microbiome. Whatever was going on inside there before was doing all right. It was doing pretty good. And post antibiotics, I mean, combined with massive opiate use, like using so many opiates after post injury because of the pain, I mean, and the obvious massive addiction to opiates after the first couple months. It's a mixture of both, because you're basically sentenced to keep using them constantly or not using them at all. But more on that later in another video. But between the opiate use, the antibiotics, I mean, my gut was completely destroyed. And the symptoms really started going downhill about 1 year after injury. Surprisingly, when I was taking the antibiotics constantly, it wasn't too bad. There was a lot of constipation and just general discomfort, and because neurogenic bowel and bladder, the lack of motility in the lower half of my intestine, being a T10, it definitely caused some issues, but absolutely nothing like after I got off the antibiotics, and I assume started to get a lot of dysbiosis, bad bacteria, viruses, whatever, were able to take up residence because of just the complete lack of normal gut flora. And I have done absolutely everything I can think of in the last 2 years, or year, basically year and a half, now to heal that. I mean, I've juice fasted for 10 days and then complete water fasted for 10 days after that. So 20 days of fasting with a very meticulous, slow refeeding. I've tried eating vegetarian and vegan, which just was not the answer for me at all. Personally, I'm not against anything. Whatever works for you, like, I'm about it. Whatever diet works for the individual to heal anything that's making them unhappy, unhealthy, or just lowering their quality of life, like, that's, you know, that's the diet for you. And for me, I experimented with every diet under the sun. Low FODMAP, low glycemic index, a combination of all sorts of different things, eating tons of fruit, eating vegan and almost only vegetables. And finally, in the last month or so, have went almost completely animal-based, based on literally one or two. I saw a video of a Liver King on Instagram and was basically just laughing at this hilarious guy that just mows liver. And I think he's got some good content and some good information mixed in there for sure. But I saw something on his page about the carnivore diet and had heard of it before I started looking into it. Was really surprised that people were having great results healing gut issues. And then it clicked for me that while I was fasting, and I should have just intuitively listened to my body from the beginning, but while I was on that extended fast, once I went off the juice and into the water fasting, by like day 3 or 4, I mean, I was obsessively watching YouTube videos about hunting and cooking wild game. I mean, it was literally all I could watch, all I could think about. I would look at videos and pictures of wild animals like bears and deer and elk and be salivating, imagining eating them, which I followed my gut, to some extent, and ate, you know, spent a lot of time hunting the next 8-9 months or so, and had some good friends. Shout out Mike Easy, who is a diehard outdoor enthusiast and hunter, and he would give me some wild game that him and his dad would harvest, and that was awesome. It helped quite a bit, and it was really satisfying, this like deep primal urge and craving for meat. But I didn't even consider or imagine that eating only animal products, and the reason that deep craving existed is because that those were the sole thing I needed to really heal me. Yeah, so I went on this kind of animal-based red meat, large amounts of primarily red meat diet about a month or so ago, and then I was incorporating other little things in there, you know, butter, raw A2 Jersey milk, some cheeses, a ton of eggs. I was eating eggs like crazy, and got some pretty dang good results. I felt the best I felt in 18 months, finally had energy, finally had motivation, was finally excited about my future, about life, could imagine posting videos and sharing stuff, and I could even like hardly talk to my friends on the phone for the last 2 months because it just felt overwhelming. Everything felt overwhelming. Like, I was just so exhausted and tired all the time up until about 20 days ago or so, after 10 plus days of eating a mostly, almost completely animal-based diet. And then I incorporated, I would try different foods and little bites of vegetables here and there, avocado, blueberries, you know, fruits sometimes, kiwi fruits and other little morsels of fruit. And I put some onion or some garlic and some ground beef to make it taste, you know, a little more exciting, some spices. And basically, the more I incorporated non-animal products into my world, the more symptoms I would have. I would have, you know, re-flare-ups of just massive gut inflammation, pain, such insane, unbearable neuropathic pain, like just burning and tingling all down my back and on my ass and back of my legs and down, like, it just the worst burning ever, like literally felt like I was just sitting on top of a hot stovetop, just roasting the backside. So that would happen anytime I would incorporate more stuff, and I kind of whittled it down to what made me feel best. It's just straight up meat, red muscle meat, organs of all sorts, any organs, any basically hoofed animal meat made me feel awesome, and then loads of animal fat, blueberries, and avocados. No real symptoms for any of those things. They all make me feel good. I cannot eat completely animal-based with no soluble fiber intake from plants at all. Not because I don't think it's possible for it to be good for you, just because mentally I love having those blueberries and having that green avocado in my diet. It just feels intuitively right for me. So I eat like 200 to 400 grams of blueberries today. So like a pint or so of blueberries, and then one avocado every other day or something like that. So not very much, mostly just yeah, meat and organs, and then I incorporate a little bit of chicken in there. No eggs, no cheese. I'm going to do some goat milk kefir because I'm taking like a ton of herbal antibiotics. I'm taking high dose berberine, Oregon grape extract is in that one as well. It's called Candibactin BR, and it's just some sort of herbal antibiotic that a couple years ago a awesome functional medicine, integrative medicine doc, Dr. Noah Edvelson in Idaho, recommended I take. And at the time I took it and it gave me a load of like die-off symptoms, is what it's called when you take something and it actually makes your symptoms worse a little bit. And then it got a little bit better, but I just didn't have the diet on point at that time, and the symptoms gradually worsened again. But so I'm taking that, taking oregano oil, boswellia, which is like frankincense extract. We're gonna get all this in capsule form. Oregano oil in capsule form. Then I'm also taking, at night, I take golden seal and neem oil. So I take the oregano oil 2 to 3 times a day, boswellia 2 to 3 times a day, berberine once or twice a day, usually with my highest carbohydrate intake. And then I take the neem oil and golden seal once, 1 capsule of each at night. And there's no basis for this protocol other than like influencers on YouTube and Instagram and podcasts, like all their information from people they've interviewed and things they've said and stuff, like assimilated into practice for me. Like this could be the worst thing ever for my guts. I really don't know, but it's making me feel awesome, so I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna eat basically nothing but meat, blueberries, and avocado. I'm on day 5. I'm gonna do it for 30 days, and then see where I'm at, and keep taking these supplements as well for about 30 days, and see where I'm at then. The only other thing I am taking is with my biggest meal of the day, I take something called Caprazyme, which is like an enzyme from an enzyme capsule that has a bunch of digestive enzymes from a company that's based out in, I think, Chehalis, Washington, but somewhere on the west coast of Washington, and that seems to make me assimilate and digest my food a heck of a lot better. It makes me feel good when I take it with a large, heavy, proteinous, fatty meal. And then also in the morning time, I am having my little guilty pleasure of coffee with like about 2 tablespoons of pasture-raised organic heavy cream, and sometimes I'm alternating between to see which one works the best, but I'm having a tablespoon or 2 of organic grade A whatever maple syrup, or raw wildflower local honey from here in Florida. I'll do about a tablespoon 2 tablespoons of that. I'm not having that every day. I'm having it, you know, every other day or a couple times a week. I'm having green tea, a couple types of herbal teas, chamomile tea, and some different teas. And then what else am I incorporating in there? Is there anything I'm forgetting? Oh yeah, twice a week I allow myself to take my favorite pre-workout, which is Gorilla Mode. Stimulant, nitric booster, and just nitric oxide booster. It's a pre-workout by a guy named Derek on More Plates, More Dates YouTube, which I found a great resource for entertainment and good information, high quality information about exercise science, and he mostly finds super interesting information on steroid use and the use of exogenous hormones, which I just, as a whole world, I was so naive to. I, honest to God, did not even know that tons of athletes were using steroids, and this probably sounds so stupid to most people. Like, I didn't even know recreational, like hardly any recreational, like weightlifters and bodybuilders and stuff would use steroids. I thought it was like only peak performance guys and dipshits that are using steroids, but now I realize that everyone uses them. Not everyone, but it's very, very, very prevalent, and like especially exogenous testosterone, which was something I was actually interested in when I kind of a year after I got injured, was because I was so low energy, way lower sex drive to prior to injury, like, and just so much muscle wasting and atrophy from just inactivity and inability to be active from just exhaustion and depression and stomach issues. Like, so I was super interested in possibly hopping on the hormone train, but luckily, and I got some testing done, and my doctor was like totally willing to prescribe it because I had some low testosterone, like 400 or 500, like something like that, which isn't inherently low, but given like all the other symptoms and problems that were going along with what I had, it didn't seem irresponsible at all, possibly, and you know, just the general well-being that I would probably get from continuously high testosterone, considering like the magnitude of injury and suffering I was going through. It was like a reasonable thing to consider, and I just thought I would try to improve it for a couple months, and actually, yeah, just through a couple months of, I might be kind of a bit of an outlier based on the new reason. At the time I just thought, awesome, like raise my testosterone a bunch, but based on that More Plates, More Dates channel, I might be kind of an outliner for response to natural testosterone intervention, because I got like almost like 900 and then a really good free testosterone, and that's like with like literally being in a chair, immobilized, like totally not ideal testosterone boosting situation, you would think. So I don't know. I'm actually I was supposed to get tested. We go yesterday to a place called Comprehensive Healthcare here, and just totally blew off my appointment because I forgot about it. So I'm an idiot, and so I'm gonna have to call and hopefully reschedule with them, and they're gonna order me labs, and I'm gonna go get a full workup. But the bottom line is, I'm not gonna do exogenous testosterone anytime soon. Not because I don't think it's super efficacious and possibly a good route for people with spinal cord injuries who are really struggling to go or have hypogonadal symptoms. I'm just not going to do it because it sounds like such an incredible headache. Like, it sounds like such a pain in the ass. I mean, I can't feel my ass, but literally stabbing needles in your ass. But that's, I mean, it just sounds super confusing. There sounds like tons of symptoms and testing and potential side effects that go along with it, and then like it causes you to need to incorporate a bunch of other drugs and pharmaceuticals to maximize performance and health, and it's just like not even, I'm not against it at all, and don't judge anyone that does it. I will, like when I turn 60, I will ramp my exogenous testosterone up to like 1200, whatever it is. I don't even know the actual, I think it's nanograms per deciliter. I just know that it's like 300 to 900 is the range, and anything above that. But when I turn 60, I'm gonna ramp that shit up to, you know, 20-year-old on massive amounts of steroids level, or massive amounts of testosterone level, whatever it is, because I just think it'll be epic to just maintain a shitload of muscle when that old. But unless I get severe hypogonadal symptoms or something happens unforeseen, I'm not gonna just hop on that train right now, because of potential side effects as well as how much work it seems to be. But moving on, I already know what led to that tangent. I'm about 1 mile out from PT, so our little Wednesday morning ride along is probably going to end right about now-ish. Not exactly now, because that would be an awkward, just random sign-off there. But yeah, that's the basis of what I've been going through, gut health-wise, and where I'm at in my journey. I'm 5 days into the avocado blueberry meat adventure, and feeling the best I felt in literally years, like by and far the best. And don't even begin to think it's those 5 days that did it. It is the months and months of experimenting and testing and trying and working out. Like, it was not a 5-day fix. It's been a very incremental, slow, frustrating, pain-ridden, confusing journey to get here. And I'm just hoping that sharing this information will condense that amount of time down for somebody. And, you know, maybe someone else who needs to be on the meat, blueberry, avocado train will hear this right at the beginning of their journey and, you know, get their guts and whatever symptoms sorted out quickly. Oh gosh, I'm merging onto the freeway, and this guy does not want me to do it. He doesn't want it. I have to accept it. I don't know why we did that. Like, why are we battling at 95 miles per hour to let me on the freeway when you have 5 lanes next to you? You fucking psychopath. Anyways, that's it. That's Bridger's Wednesday ride along. I love everybody. I hope everyone has a fantastic day. Everybody that's listening to this channel, not everybody in the world, some of you are assholes, but everyone who's here now is obviously amazing. So I love you guys, and hope that everyone has a fantastic day. Get out there and just crush it. Somehow do something that makes you uncomfortable, that pushes the envelope a little bit further. It's all about what I've come to learn and realize. It's been one of the most valuable changes in my perspective, to realize that it's all about incremental progress and consistency, not huge leaps. The huge leaps happen, but they're not the goal. The goal is just incremental, day by day, a little more than yesterday, a little better than yesterday improvement. So yeah, have an awesome day, and peace. I will see you later.